What if I told you that the next 10 minutes after a heart attack begins could decide whether you return home to your family or never get another chance? Most people think survival depends only on doctors or hospitals, but science tells a different story. The choices made in those first few minutes can protect the heart, reduce permanent damage, and dramatically improve the chances of survival. The frightening part is that millions of people don't recognize the warning signs, or they waste precious time hoping the pain will disappear. Today, you'll learn the 3 actions that matter most in those critical first 10 minutes, why they work inside the human body, and how staying calm can become one of the most powerful life-saving tools you have. The human heart is one of the most faithful organs in the body. It works every second of every day without asking for rest, quietly pumping blood that carries oxygen and nutrients to every cell. Most of the time, we never stop to think about it. We assume it will continue beating as it always has. But when a heart attack begins, the body often sends warning signals long before the damage becomes severe. These signals are not meant to frighten us. They are the body's urgent request for immediate attention. The challenge is that many people misunderstand them, ignore them, or mistake them for something harmless like indigestion, muscle pain, or simple fatigue. A heart attack happens when blood flow to part of the heart muscle becomes suddenly blocked. The heart itself needs a constant supply of oxygen-rich blood to keep beating effectively. When that blood supply is reduced or completely stopped, the affected heart muscle begins to suffer. Without oxygen, those cells start to weaken. As each minute passes, more cells become damaged. This is why time is one of the most valuable medicines during a heart attack. Doctors have powerful treatments that can restore blood flow, but those treatments are most effective when the person reaches medical care as quickly as possible. The most well-known warning sign is chest discomfort. Many people expect this pain to feel like a sharp stabbing sensation, but that is not always the case. It may feel more like pressure, heaviness, squeezing, fullness, or a tight band wrapped around the chest. Some people describe it as if a heavy object is sitting on them. Others feel an uncomfortable burning sensation that resembles severe heartburn. Because the feeling can be different from person to person, many people convince themselves that it is nothing serious and decide to wait. Unfortunately, waiting allows the blockage to continue damaging the heart. Pain or discomfort does not always stay in the chest. The heart shares nerve pathways with other parts of the body, which is why pain can spread to the left arm, both arms, the shoulders, the back, the neck, or the jaw. Some people notice aching between the shoulder blades. Others feel unusual discomfort in the upper stomach. These symptoms may appear together or one at a time. They may come and go, becoming stronger with time. Even if the discomfort seems mild, it should never be ignored, especially if it appears suddenly or feels different from anything experienced before. Shortness of breath is another important warning sign. Some people notice they cannot catch their breath even while sitting quietly. Others become breathless after only a few simple steps. This happens because the struggling heart cannot pump blood as efficiently as it should. The body quickly notices that oxygen delivery is becoming less effective, and breathing naturally becomes more difficult. Many people mistakenly blame this on age, lack of fitness, or anxiety, missing the deeper message their body is trying to communicate. Another warning sign that often surprises people is sudden sweating. This is not the normal sweating that follows exercise or hot weather. It can appear as a cold, clammy sweat that seems to come from nowhere. The skin may feel cool and damp even in a comfortable room. This reaction happens because the body senses a major emergency and activates its stress response. While this response is meant to help during danger, it also reminds us that something serious may be happening inside the heart. Some people also experience unexpected nausea, vomiting, dizziness, or lightheadedness. They may feel weak without any obvious reason. They might suddenly become pale or feel as though they could faint. These symptoms can be especially confusing because they resemble many less serious illnesses. Yet when they occur alongside chest discomfort or shortness of breath, they deserve immediate medical attention. The body rarely sends several unusual signals at once without an important reason. It is also important to understand that heart attack symptoms are not always dramatic. Television often shows people collapsing instantly with intense chest pain, but reality is frequently much quieter. A person may continue walking, talking, or even working while the heart attack slowly progresses. The pain may be mild rather than severe. Some people describe only a strange feeling that something is not right. That inner sense should never be dismissed. Our bodies often recognize danger before our minds fully understand it. Older adults may experience symptoms that are less obvious than those seen in younger people. Instead of severe chest pain, they may notice unusual tiredness, weakness, confusion, or difficulty breathing. Women may also experience symptoms that differ from the classic picture, including discomfort in the jaw, back, neck, nausea, or overwhelming fatigue. These differences can make recognition more difficult, which is why paying attention to any sudden, unexplained change in how the body feels is so important. Every heartbeat depends on an uninterrupted flow of oxygen-rich blood. The moment that flow begins to fail, the body starts speaking through discomfort, pressure, breathlessness, sweating, weakness, and pain that may travel beyond the chest. These are not random sensations but carefully timed biological warnings that give us a precious opportunity to act before more of the heart muscle is permanently injured. The moment a heart attack is suspected, the most important decision is not trying to figure out whether the pain will disappear. It is not searching the internet for answers or waiting for a family member to return home. The first life-saving action is to stop whatever you are doing and call emergency medical services immediately. This simple decision may seem ordinary, but from a medical point of view, it is one of the most powerful actions a person can take. Every minute that passes without treatment allows more heart muscle to lose its oxygen supply, increasing the risk of permanent damage. The body is sending an urgent message, and responding quickly gives doctors the best chance to restore blood flow before the injury becomes severe. When a heart attack begins, the heart is already under tremendous stress. Continuing to walk, climb stairs, lift heavy objects, or even rushing around the house forces the heart to work harder. Every physical movement increases the body's demand for oxygen. Unfortunately, the blocked artery cannot deliver enough oxygen-rich blood to the struggling heart muscle. This creates an even greater imbalance between what the heart needs and what it receives. That is why stopping all physical activity immediately is so important. Sitting down in a comfortable position reduces the workload on the heart and helps conserve the limited oxygen that is still reaching the affected area. Many people hesitate because they are unsure whether the symptoms are serious enough. They worry about causing unnecessary concern or feeling embarrassed if it turns out not to be a heart attack. This hesitation is surprisingly common, but it can also be dangerous. Medical professionals would much rather evaluate someone whose symptoms prove harmless than arrive too late for someone who delayed asking for help. The cost of a false alarm is usually small. The cost of waiting during a real heart attack can be life-changing. Calling emergency medical services instead of driving yourself to the hospital is another decision supported by strong medical evidence. An ambulance is much more than transportation. It is a mobile medical unit staffed by trained professionals who can begin treatment before the patient reaches the hospital. They can monitor the heart's rhythm, provide oxygen if needed, perform an electrocardiogram to detect signs of a heart attack, communicate with the receiving hospital, and respond immediately if the heart suddenly stops beating normally. These early interventions can save valuable time and may prevent a deadly complication before arrival. Driving yourself during a heart attack creates serious risks. A heart attack can suddenly cause severe dizziness, fainting, confusion, or dangerous heart rhythm disturbances. If any of these occur while driving, both the patient and others on the road may be placed in immediate danger. Even asking a family member to drive may not be the safest option because unexpected complications can happen at any moment. Emergency medical teams are trained specifically to manage these situations while transporting the patient safely. One of the greatest enemies during a heart attack is the belief that resting for a while will make the symptoms disappear. Some people sit quietly for an hour hoping the discomfort will fade. Others take medicine meant for indigestion, believing the pain comes from the stomach. While symptoms may sometimes become less intense for a short period, the blockage inside the artery may still be worsening. The absence of severe pain does not always mean the danger has passed. Heart muscle can continue to lose oxygen even when symptoms seem to improve temporarily. Every passing minute has biological consequences. Heart cells depend on a continuous supply of oxygen to produce the energy needed for each heartbeat. When blood flow is interrupted, these cells quickly begin to struggle. If circulation is restored early, many of them can recover. If treatment is delayed for too long, more cells die permanently and are replaced by scar tissue. Unlike many other tissues in the body, damaged heart muscle has only a limited ability to regenerate. This is why emergency doctors often repeat the phrase that time is muscle. Every minute saved may preserve thousands of living heart cells. Modern hospitals have highly effective treatments designed to reopen blocked arteries as quickly as possible. Special medications may dissolve certain blood clots, while emergency procedures can mechanically restore blood flow using tiny balloons and stents. These treatments work best when patients arrive early. The sooner the blockage is removed, the greater the chance that the heart will continue functioning normally after recovery. Delayed treatment often means a larger area of permanent injury, increasing the risk of heart failure and other long-term complications. It is also helpful to prepare before an emergency ever happens. Keep emergency phone numbers easily accessible. Know the location of the nearest hospital with emergency cardiac care, and discuss warning signs with family members so everyone understands when immediate action is necessary. Preparation removes uncertainty during moments when clear thinking becomes difficult. In a true emergency, simple plans save precious time because important decisions have already been made. The human heart has remarkable strength, but it also has limits. When it begins sending signals that something is seriously wrong, those signals deserve immediate respect. Stopping all activity, calling emergency medical services without delay, resisting the temptation to wait, and trusting trained medical professionals are actions grounded not in fear but in science, because every minute of restored blood flow offers another chance for the heart to continue the quiet, faithful work it has performed throughout a lifetime. The second life-saving action during a suspected heart attack is understanding the role of aspirin and why it has become one of the most widely recommended emergency treatments in certain situations. This small tablet may seem ordinary because millions of people use it for headaches or minor aches and pains. Yet during a heart attack, it can play a very different role. The key is knowing when it is appropriate, when it is not, and why it should always be viewed as a temporary measure while emergency medical care is already on the way. Aspirin is never a substitute for professional treatment, but when used correctly under the right circumstances, it may help slow the progression of the blockage that is threatening the heart. Most heart attacks happen because a fatty deposit inside a coronary artery suddenly ruptures. The body reacts to this rupture as though it is repairing an injury. Tiny blood cells called platelets quickly gather at the damaged area and begin sticking together to form a clot. While this response is helpful for stopping bleeding from a cut on the skin, it becomes dangerous inside a coronary artery. As the clot grows larger, it can block more and more of the blood flowing to the heart muscle. The result is a rapid loss of oxygen to the cells that depend on a constant blood supply. Aspirin works by making platelets less likely to stick together. It does not instantly dissolve an existing clot, but it can reduce the speed at which the clot continues to grow. This may allow a small amount of blood to keep reaching the heart muscle while the person is being transported to the hospital. Even a slight improvement in blood flow can make an important difference because every heartbeat depends on oxygen reaching the damaged area. The goal is not to solve the problem at home but to slow the process until doctors can provide treatments that fully restore circulation. Medical professionals often recommend chewing a regular adult aspirin or the equivalent low-dose tablets rather than swallowing them whole, because chewing allows the medicine to be absorbed more quickly into the bloodstream. Faster absorption means the medication can begin affecting platelets sooner. However, this recommendation applies only when emergency medical services have already been contacted and when the person has no medical reason that makes aspirin unsafe. The medicine is meant to support emergency care, not delay it. There are important situations in which aspirin should not be taken unless specifically instructed by a healthcare professional. Some people are allergic to aspirin and may develop a serious reaction after taking it. Others have a history of stomach bleeding, bleeding disorders, or recent major surgery, making aspirin potentially harmful. Certain medications that thin the blood may also increase the risk of dangerous bleeding when combined with aspirin. These individual factors explain why no single medicine is appropriate for everyone, even during an emergency. Another reason to avoid self-diagnosis is that not every sudden chest pain is caused by a heart attack. A rare but extremely dangerous condition called an aortic dissection involves a tear in the wall of the body's main artery. In such cases, aspirin may increase bleeding and worsen the situation. Although this condition is far less common than a heart attack, it reminds us that chest pain can have several causes, which is why trained medical evaluation is essential. The safest approach is always to call emergency services immediately and follow their instructions while help is on the way. One of the biggest misconceptions is believing that taking aspirin means the danger has been handled. Some people notice that their discomfort becomes slightly less intense after taking medication and decide not to seek further treatment. This is a serious mistake. Aspirin cannot reopen a completely blocked coronary artery. It cannot remove cholesterol buildup or repair damaged heart tissue. It simply slows one part of the clotting process. the blocked artery still requires urgent medical attention, often through specialized procedures that restore normal blood flow. Hospitals have powerful treatments that go far beyond what any medicine kept at home can accomplish. Doctors may use emergency coronary angiography to locate the blockage, followed by angioplasty to widen the artery and place a small stent that keeps it open. In some situations, clot-dissolving medications may also be used. These treatments directly address the cause of the heart attack, giving the heart muscle its best opportunity to recover. Aspirin serves only as an early supportive measure until these advanced therapies become available. Understanding how aspirin works also helps us appreciate the remarkable balance inside the human body. Blood must remain fluid enough to travel through thousands of miles of blood vessels while also being able to clot quickly when an injury occurs. This delicate balance protects us every day without us ever noticing. During a heart attack, however, the same protective clotting system becomes part of the problem because it blocks the artery that is trying to nourish the heart itself. Aspirin gently shifts that balance, slowing platelet activity just enough to provide valuable time during a medical emergency. Knowledge is powerful when it is paired with action. Recognizing heart attack symptoms, calling emergency medical services without delay, understanding when aspirin may be appropriate, and never allowing a small tablet to replace urgent hospital care reflect the principles of modern emergency medicine, where each decision is guided by careful scientific evidence and every minute preserved offers the struggling heart another opportunity to survive with less permanent damage. The third life-saving action during a suspected heart attack is often overlooked because it does not involve a medicine or a medical procedure. It involves controlling what you do in those critical moments while waiting for emergency medical help to arrive. Remaining as calm as possible, sitting in a safe and comfortable position, and avoiding dangerous decisions can make a meaningful difference. These actions may seem simple, but they are deeply connected to how the heart and the rest of the body respond during a medical emergency. Every choice either reduces the heart's workload or places additional stress on an organ that is already struggling to survive. Fear is one of the body's most natural reactions when something feels seriously wrong. The sudden pain, pressure, or discomfort in the chest can create overwhelming anxiety. The mind immediately begins asking frightening questions, and the body responds by releasing stress hormones such as adrenaline. This response evolved to help humans survive danger by increasing heart rate, raising blood pressure, and preparing the muscles for action. While this reaction may be helpful when escaping physical danger, it is far less helpful during a heart attack. A heart that is already receiving too little oxygen is suddenly being asked to beat faster and harder, increasing its demand for energy at the exact moment when its blood supply has been reduced. This is why staying as calm as possible is not simply emotional advice. It is supported by science. Slow, controlled breathing can help reduce the intensity of the body's stress response. Taking gentle breaths, avoiding panic, and reminding yourself that help is on the way can prevent unnecessary strain on the heart. Remaining calm does not remove the blockage inside the artery, but it may reduce the additional burden created by fear and physical agitation. Finding a safe position is equally important. Medical professionals generally recommend sitting down or resting in a position that feels comfortable, often with the upper body slightly raised if breathing is difficult. This position may reduce strain on the heart and make breathing easier. Standing for long periods or continuing normal activities forces the heart to work harder than necessary. If severe dizziness develops, sitting or lying down also reduces the risk of falling and suffering another injury during an already dangerous situation. Many people make the mistake of believing they should continue with their daily routine until the pain becomes unbearable. They finish shopping, complete household chores, or continue working because they hope the symptoms will disappear. Unfortunately, every unnecessary movement increases the body's oxygen demands. The muscles require more blood, the heart pumps faster, and the struggling heart muscle receives even less of the oxygen it desperately needs. Resting immediately allows the body to conserve energy while emergency care is being arranged. One of the most dangerous mistakes is attempting to drive yourself to the hospital. At first, this may seem like the quickest solution, especially if the hospital is only a short distance away. However, heart attacks are unpredictable. The heart's electrical system may suddenly become unstable, leading to dangerous rhythm disturbances that can cause fainting or even cardiac arrest without warning. Losing consciousness while driving puts not only the patient at risk but also passengers, pedestrians, and other drivers. Even if the journey begins safely, conditions can change within seconds. Asking a family member or friend to drive may appear safer, but it still lacks the medical support available in an ambulance. Emergency medical professionals carry equipment to monitor the heart, provide oxygen when necessary, begin life-saving treatments, and respond immediately if the patient's condition worsens. They also communicate directly with the hospital so that the cardiac team can prepare before the patient arrives, reducing valuable treatment time. Every minute saved after arrival increases the chance of protecting more of the heart muscle. Another common mistake is trying to hide the symptoms from others. Some people fear worrying their loved ones or creating unnecessary panic. Others feel embarrassed because they think they may be overreacting. This desire to appear strong can become dangerous. Informing someone nearby immediately provides another layer of safety. That person can call emergency services, unlock the front door for paramedics, gather important medications, and stay close in case the patient's condition suddenly changes. During a medical emergency, accepting help is a sign of wisdom, not weakness. People should also avoid eating a large meal or drinking alcohol while experiencing possible heart attack symptoms. The body's priority should remain focused on maintaining circulation to the heart, not digesting food or processing alcohol. Unless specifically instructed by emergency medical professionals, it is generally best to wait for further medical evaluation. Similarly, taking random medications in the hope that something might help can create unnecessary risks, especially if the true cause of the symptoms has not yet been confirmed. The human body has an extraordinary ability to communicate when something is wrong. A racing heartbeat, sudden weakness, chest pressure, or difficulty breathing are signals designed to protect life by encouraging immediate action, responding with calm instead of panic, resting instead of pushing through the pain, waiting safely instead of driving, and allowing trained medical professionals to take control reflects an understanding that survival often depends not only on advanced medical technology but also on the quiet, thoughtful decisions made during the first few minutes of an unexpected emergency. Reaching the hospital is not the end of the emergency. It is the beginning of a carefully coordinated effort to restore blood flow, protect the heart muscle, and prevent further damage. By the time a patient arrives, every member of the medical team understands that time remains critically important. The heart is an extraordinary organ, but it cannot survive for long without a steady supply of oxygen-rich blood. The sooner circulation is restored, the greater the chance that healthy heart muscle can be saved. This is why doctors often describe the first hour after a heart attack begins as the golden hour. It is a period when rapid medical treatment can make the greatest difference in survival and long-term recovery. One of the first things doctors do is confirm whether a heart attack is actually happening. Not every episode of chest pain has the same cause, so the medical team uses several tools to quickly understand what is taking place inside the body. An electrocardiogram, commonly called an ECG, records the heart's electrical activity and can reveal patterns that suggest a blocked artery. Blood tests are also performed because damaged heart muscle releases certain proteins into the bloodstream. These tests help doctors identify the extent of the injury and choose the most effective treatment without wasting valuable time. If a blocked coronary artery is confirmed, the main goal becomes reopening it as quickly as possible. One of the most effective treatments is a procedure known as coronary angioplasty. During this procedure, a thin tube called a catheter is guided through a blood vessel to the blocked artery. A tiny balloon at the tip is carefully inflated to widen the narrowed area, restoring blood flow. In many cases, a small metal mesh tube called a stent is left inside the artery to help keep it open. As blood begins flowing normally again, the heart muscle receives the oxygen it has been desperately lacking. Every minute gained before this restoration means more heart cells have a chance to survive. In some situations, especially when immediate angioplasty is not available, doctors may use powerful clot-dissolving medications. These medicines are designed to break apart the blood clot blocking the artery and allow blood to reach the heart again. Like all emergency treatments, they work best when given early. Delays reduce their effectiveness because the longer heart tissue remains without oxygen, the more permanent damage occurs. This is another reason why seeking help immediately after symptoms begin is so important. Even after blood flow has been restored, recovery continues. The heart needs time to heal, and doctors carefully monitor patients for complications such as irregular heart rhythms, reduced pumping strength, or additional blockages. Medications may be prescribed to lower blood pressure, reduce cholesterol levels, prevent future blood clots, or help the heart work more efficiently. These treatments are not simply temporary solutions, they become part of a long-term strategy to protect the heart from another emergency. Surviving a heart attack often changes the way people view their health. Many realize for the first time that the heart quietly reflects the choices made over many years. Every healthy meal, every walk, every hour of quality sleep, and every effort to manage stress becomes an investment in the heart's future. Recovery is not only about healing damaged tissue but also about building habits that reduce the chances of another blocked artery developing. A heart-friendly lifestyle begins with everyday decisions, choosing meals rich in vegetables, fruits, whole grains, lean proteins, and healthy fats helps support healthy blood vessels. Reducing foods that are high in saturated fats, trans fats, excess salt, and added sugars can lower the risk of plaque building up inside the arteries. Regular physical activity, approved by a healthcare professional after recovery, strengthens the heart, improves circulation, and helps control weight, blood pressure, and blood sugar. Even moderate exercise performed consistently can produce meaningful benefits over time. Avoiding tobacco is one of the most powerful steps anyone can take to protect the heart. Chemicals in tobacco damage blood vessels, encourage clot formation, and reduce the amount of oxygen carried by the blood. Quitting smoking allows the body to begin repairing itself, and the benefits start sooner than many people realize. Managing conditions such as high blood pressure, diabetes, and high cholesterol through regular medical care also greatly lowers the risk of future heart attacks. These conditions often progress silently, making routine checkups an important part of prevention. Preparation also saves lives. Families should know the warning signs of a heart attack and discuss what to do before an emergency ever happens. Keeping emergency phone numbers easily available, maintaining an updated list of medications, and understanding personal risk factors remove confusion during stressful moments. Knowledge shared with loved ones can become just as valuable as any medicine because it allows fast and confident action when every minute matters. The heart never asks for recognition as it continues beating through every joyful celebration, every challenge, every quiet night, and every ordinary day. A heart attack reminds us that this remarkable organ deserves care long before an emergency begins. Recognizing symptoms without delay, acting quickly during the first critical minutes, trusting emergency medical professionals, and embracing healthier habits afterward create the strongest foundation for protecting the heart, preserving precious years of life, and giving every future heartbeat the greatest possible chance to continue its faithful work. This content is for educational and informational purposes only and is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. If you or someone else experiences symptoms of a heart attack, call your local emergency medical services immediately. Never ignore or delay seeking urgent medical care because of information presented in this content.